Hello, everybody. Surprise! April ended up not finishing the book, so I asked these two lovely ladies if they would help me out since I know that they both read and loved the book. So if Wendy, you want to introduce yourself, because this is the first time I've had both of you on my channel.
My name is Wendy from Wendy's Inspired Reads, and obviously I love fantasy. So I'm very excited to talk about this book.
And my name's Yvette. I'm on Instagram as Leavers Adores. And same, I'm also a big fantasy reader, so I'm excited to talk about this book.
And if you guys don't know, because I didn't tell you, we are discussing Quicksilver by Callie Hart. For our book, it will be all spoilers, so if you haven't read the book, I mean, you can leave a sad face, but we're gonna pretty much get into it pretty quick and there'll be lots of spoilers. But please let us know if you read the book. Leave a sword emoji, or you could just put like red, because I know sometimes finding emojis is hard, especially with the new update. I'm like, what happened?
Did you do the newest one?
On my phone? Yes.
Ooh, I haven't done it yet. I'm scared.
They just change like little things, but that's like the worst part. Because
I'm like, is it hard?
What did you do to my emojis?
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if it affected my Square reader. I had a vendor event this weekend, and my Square reader would not like connect whatsoever. It failed every time, so that was frustrating.
Well, Keisha couldn't edit her YouTube video after she had done it. I guess like Adobe or something wasn't working after that.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I think it was some like big eternal like software updates. So hopefully they get all the glitches and bugs fixed, because it's not fun when
that's frustrating.
Like thankfully I still had like tap to pay and like other sources like Venmo and PayPal and stuff. But I was like, what would I do if I didn't have tap to pay and couldn't take any like cards whatsoever?
Yeah.
So, but it also changed my emojis, and every time I go to like react, I'm like, where are these? Like, what is going on? It's different.
Yeah.
In a week I'll forget it all, but we will say hi to everyone that is here. Hi, Cece. You read it. Hi, Laura. Hi, Beth. Oh my gosh. Okay. Tina, Laura read it. I'm not updating my phone yet either. I mean,
maybe I should hold off.
Yeah, I normally do, because it's just, I like to let the bugs kind of suss out for a little bit before I update it.
I know. Mine did it when I was sleeping because I have automatic updates on, because normally it doesn't affect it that much. But then I did have regrets after that. But it didn't hook up to my iPad either. So I don't know if like Square also did like an update and messed their stuff up. I don't understand technology, so. Beth read it. The other Wendy read it.
I've never met. Well, I have met other Wendy's, but it's rare.
And isn't it like I feel like I've never in my life met another Wendy, and then now I have like two Wendy friends that both read.
I work with a Wendy,
W-I. Yeah.
N-D-Y.
I had someone in college who was W-I.
And so almost every time I spell your name, because I type her name every single day, I almost always spelled it. I'm like, no, not Wendy, Wendy.
I have never heard of someone called Wendy, but I'm not.
I'd never seen it before too. It's the first time.
That's cool. Yeah. Hi, but this is spoilery, so I just wanted to say hi, bye. I know she messaged me. She's like, are there going to be spoilers? I'm like, yeah, you don't want to come. But thank you for supporting and being here. We are rare and amazing. Yes, you are. People always call me Wendy. Interesting. That's so.
Yeah, and I specifically try to make sure I call her Wendy, because it is with the I.
Yeah, and then all of the Wendy's jokes that you can imagine. Like, I worked at restaurants a lot, so they were always like, "You're at the wrong restaurant."
Oh, I was thinking more like Peter Pan. That's all I could
That's
think of.
what I think.
No, it was always the restaurants.
Oh,
They're
I
always
was
like,
going with
"Why are
Peter
you
Pan.
working? Why aren't you working here?"
Ha ha ha.
I'm like, "That's so original."
I feel like I've never heard that in my life, actually. Okay, we will move in. Full spoilers, guys. This is gonna. If you haven't read the book, you might have felt like you read it after this.
Yeah.
But no, I would suggest that you wait, read it. It is a long book, but then come back and rewatch this afterwards because I'm sure we'll have lots of fun things to say. Okay, before we say what we rated it, I always like to know, how did you read the book? Because I do feel like that makes a difference. And I know it affected me. So this is my first time. I didn't have a physical copy, which I was like, I will be good and actually read it on Kindle Unlimited, even though my Kindle is really laggy and whatnot. So I'm like, I'll read it on my iPad. And then I had instant regret and then went to go buy it off of Amazon and you could no longer buy it. I checked Books A Million online. Everything was sold out and pre-order only. So I was forced to read it digitally. But then I also had the audiobook. So I ended up listening more than actually tandem reading, which I think was my fault and my demise. I did finish this an hour ago. And I read 50% between yesterday and today.
That's a lot.
Just putting that out there.
To cram in.
It was like a full day today. But Wendy, how did you read it?
Physically. Like, I had a physical copy, but I did use the Kindle version also. Like, I go back and forth. So, like, if I am like laying in my bed at night, I like to use the Kindle for that.
I was gonna say, because a lot of your Discord quotes were like from your Kindle.
So I, especially too, if a book is like huge, after a while, like it gets tiring to hold it. And so I do like to switch back and forth so that I can just, easily lay down in bed or whatever.
I get that.
And I read it almost solely audiobook, but I read almost everything audiobook and then kind of tandem read at times. So I did have the physical copy to kind of look at names or whatever, but I wasn't in the book very much. I was listening more.
See, okay. I feel like everyone who has the physical copy, when they show it, you can never see it at an angle, so it doesn't look that thick. Even though I have the audiobook and it said it was...
It's like a brick too. It's heavy.
Yeah, it's 600, almost 600. Oh no, right over.
That was my demise too, because even though I knew the audiobook was like really long, I was like, it's gonna go really fast.
Yeah.
It did not. It's huge.
The chapters are so long.
Very, very long.
I did realize that as I was going, but I don't know. This one didn't hurt me like some where I'll be reading. I'm like, will this chapter ever end?
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. It didn't, for me at least, it didn't.
I loved every second of it, but like the chapters being long annoy me solely for the purpose of like, if I'm busy and I need to like get to a stopping point, I can't stand not stopping at the end of a chapter. Like that drives me insane.
I can stop at the end of like a something happened kind of situation.
Well, she had like the little swords like halfway through a lot of chapters. It's like, make it a chapter. I would much rather have 100 chapters that are short.
Yeah.
Then, because that was my thing too. Like, I was going into like one of the busiest weeks of the year for small business stuff. And I was like, okay, I only have to read 5 chapters. And they were each like an hour long on the audiobook. And I was like, I can't do that. I can't just listen. I wish I would have listened to it while I worked sooner.
Yeah.
But I really try to tandem read because then it just, like, ingrains into my head so much more. So by the time I would read, it was late at night, I was dead tired, and the chapters were so long.
Yeah.
So that was hard for me.
Mhm.
Laura says, "Don't be frosty." Oh my gosh. I default to Peter Pan also. That's my husband is obsessed with Peter Pan, and
Oh
I've
my
watched
gosh.
it so
I
much.
watched that so much as a kid. I was
I
so
did
into
too.
it. Yep.
What was Wendy your favorite?
I mean, naturally.
It's long but easy to get lost in.
Yeah.
I surprisingly only had someone make a Wendy joke at Wendy's twice, but once on a field trip when we stopped at Wendy's and everyone was making jokes. Didn't help, I had red
Oh.
hair then. Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
no.
nice.
I'm sure this only happened to me because I've worked at so many restaurants.
Yeah.
So
But still.
it's like just a natural restaurant joke, I guess.
I had a physical copy, but primarily read it on my Kindle. Interesting. I'm hoping I am getting very anticlimactic, but I am getting a Kindle for Christmas. It
Yeah.
comes in tomorrow, but Matt won't let me use it till Christmas. So we'll see how that goes. Because I will say, like, a big honking iPad is not
Yeah,
convenient.
that would be hard. I love the Kindle. I think that is my preferred way to read just because, like, I read a lot of huge books, and I
Mhm.
just love that it feels like I can read faster that way.
I got one of the original ones, and it hasn't been able to charge for, like, 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
And, so they have their if you guys don't know, if you have a Kindle, if you trade it in, not only will they appraise it and give you a certain amount of money, mine was only worth $5. They didn't even have a graphic for it. They even have a graphic for, like, turn in your old Kindle,
That
um,
does.
but I got
That's funny.
$5 and an extra 20% off the 19% off.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, I
And they
wish I would've known
maybe
that. I
not.
threw mine away.
Oh, really? But so it came out to the new Paperwhite, I think is, like, originally 160, and I think with a case, I paid, like, 109?
You didn't. Your husband did.
Oh, yeah. Fair. So I was like, "Dang, that was definitely worth it to get it right
Yeah.
now."
Yeah.
So if you've been thinking about it, definitely do the trade-in, and I don't even have to trade in my old one until I have up until January 14th to turn it
Okay.
in.
Oh,
So it's
nice.
not
I
like you
can
have to do it right away, and they send you a packing slip. So you
That's
just have to
awesome.
slap it on a box and ship it.
Did you
My
get the kind of minty colored one?
That's what I got.
No, well, so that was the smaller one.
Oh,
You got the bigger one?
I got the bigger one.
okay.
Because that's what everyone when I was like, "What one should I get?" They're like, "Get the bigger one," and I'm like, "Okay."
Okay.
I wanted the
I just like to
matcha.
be able to hold it in my hand.
I know, I
Yeah.
was like, "Smaller will be better," and
Yeah.
everyone's like, "Get the normal size."
You
I'm like,
can make the font bigger, so it's like I don't know.
"Mhm,
Mhm.
But my first Kindle I ever had, it lasted me like 10 years,
mhm,
and it just stopped working last year.
Yeah, I have the Amazon Fire ones. I haven't so I mean, is that's considered a Kindle, right?
Yeah, it is. Mine
Okay.
was just like a Paperwhite one.
Yeah, I
mhm."
don't have the Paperwhite. Those ones are always a little bit more. Like the Fire ones are only like $50 on
Yeah.
the Black
That's
Fridays and stuff, so that's the one I normally get because I don't use it enough too.
yeah.
Yeah, I have found out I don't like because I have a 2nd generation, which is very, very
Yeah.
outdated. Fire, it lags a
Mhm.
lot, but I don't like the glare. That's my biggest thing.
Yeah, it does have a lot of glare.
Yeah, and that bothers me, especially now because I'm so sensitive to getting migraines.
Mhm.
The Paperwhite is just so much better. So I'm excited to get one and see if I like it better. And I just feel like I am not a good fantasy reader if I don't have a tangible book, but we'll see. Maybe it's just because I had to read it on my big honking iPad and rush through it on a really off week. I had a teacher who would always went, "Hello, Wendy," in Captain Hook's voice when she saw me. I love
That's
that.
hilarious.
I can't do British accents, so sorry about that. I read a physical copy. My hand cramped by the weight of holding it. That is
Yeah.
true. I haven't read a big, thick book like that in a while. Oh, just kidding. I read Binding 13, and I had to like prop
Yeah.
it up on pillows when I read it because it's huge.
Oh, right
Or
now.
like the ACOTAR books.
Oh yeah. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
finishing up. Okay.
Oh yeah, your Brandon Sanderson books.
I'm finally gonna finish this one up because the next one comes out on the 6th. I just realized, like, doesn't that look like I don't have much left? Right? That piece right there. That piece right there is this book.
I was gonna say it still looks like a lot to me.
It is 20 more hours of audio. It's over 500. I think it's 600 pages. I was like,
crazy.
ah! So I've
That's
read
crazy.
730, and I still have like so many to go. But I'm gonna finish it this week.
I was gonna say we can wait for the end to talk more about it too, but Wendy also has a book club, and both of you are hosting for the first one, and I'm really excited because you're doing Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, and I'm really excited. Right? That's the right one.
Yes.
Okay.
It'll be my first Brandon Sanderson, so I hope I like it.
Yeah.
I read Tress of the Emerald Sea, but I know that's way different than this series. So
yeah, I DNF'd that, but I'm not gonna consider it that I read it because I didn't get very far.
I listened to the audio of that one, and I loved it. I loved the audio.
There's two, right? There's the full cast or the regular one, right? Do you know which one you listened to?
I don't think it was full cast.
Okay.
Now that I don't remember.
Okay. I just looked on my Hoopla and they're on there, and I saw that there was one that was full cast, and I was like, is that worth it?
I don't remember. I gave it 5 stars though, and I thought it was great. So I don't think it was.
Have you read it, Yvette?
No, that
Okay.
was one of the books I wanted to read on like my list this year. I have. Where is she? Over there. That one over there. That's the like leather bound one.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
That was, I think it was like, I don't remember how much it was, but people were selling it for $100 and everything. I found it for 20. And I almost I had been looking for it for 6 months or something, and I found it, and I was like, purchase. So I really want to read it because it's so gorgeous.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I had a physical book, ebook, and binged the last half on audio because I was crocheting and didn't want to stop reading or crocheting. Hey, that's fair. I read it on my Kindle app, on my tablet. I read it in 2 days as well, but I couldn't put it down.
Yeah.
Dang.
3 days.
Yeah, I know. You were, because like you were on Discord just like commenting. I was like, how is she going through this fast?
I know. I was trying to slow down because I was like, okay.
I just couldn't stop.
I was like, it's on Monday, like read it incrementally so you remember. But oh my gosh, I was loving it, and I was flying through it.
And when I listen to audio books, I mean, I can fly through them too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I went from like the worst reading slump in the last couple months to when I was working on stuff for my vendor event, I finished like 5 books in a week.
Oh my gosh. I remember seeing like you finishing books, and I was like, what? She finished another one today.
I would just like to say I read it in 3 days with my eyeballs. With
no audio. That's insane.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's impressive.
That's how good it is.
Yeah.
Laura read it on Kindle Unlimited and jumped into audio towards the end in order to finish it. I feel you. I liked there were chapter titles, not just a number. They were entertaining. Yes.
You like
I
that.
love when they do that.
I was cracking up at some of the titles too. My personal favorite was, I think it was chapter 22, because I put this in Discord, and it's called The Itch. And
oh yeah.
That's when it finally got like spicy, and
I thought that one was funny.
And I was like, The Itch is an interesting title for that. That could go multiple ways.
There was one called Crumbs, and I thought that was a cute chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And like something like that, where they're in the library.
All of them were really like witty and everything. I
Yeah.
really liked it because I told you what was gonna happen without you really like knowing what was gonna happen. And that's just like an extra little thing that authors just don't do as much anymore.
I know. I wish they all had chapter titles. I think it's more fun. But then again, you have to come up with the names of all those.
And it's also nice. She has like, even though I had the audio, but she has the pronunciation guide.
Yes.
Mhm.
At the beginning of the book. I think that's really nice because, you know, Sarah J.
I
Maas.
wish Sarah J. Maas would do
Yeah, yes.
like, you
so
know,
much less controversy.
I'm still
Wendy and I were
gonna say
actually talking
Ryzen and
about
I
that.
don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier because it's so hard, but
I like my version better.
You call him Rice and?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't care. Because that's how I had it in my head. And then when I heard how it was, I was like, no, absolutely not. This is who he's been to me for like ever.
Well, I always think of Wise as, because my name, so I think of Wise as E sounding.
Yeah.
So I immediately thought Reese and.
It just sounds more, I don't know, feminine to me.
I know a girl Reese, and so
I know a guy Reese.
Like
so
Reese
that does.
Witherspoon.
Oh, true.
That's funny. Wendy just got Mistborn on Libby, but I bought Sky Shade, and I don't know which one I should read next.
Well, this one.
Because okay, your book club starts this month, doesn't it?
Yes.
But
it's on the new app Fable.
Yes.
And then we'll have the discussion on YouTube.
But that's like on January.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it the first week of the following month all the time, just to give people a little more time to read.
Yeah, that's what we do here. Especially with the holidays last week, there was just no way.
But yours is every other month, yes?
Yes.
Correct.
Both of you?
Yes.
Okay.
And I tried to make mine opposite because I started to think, oh my gosh, everyone's book club's the same month. Literally everyone. So I'm like, I should just make it the opposite.
Yeah. And then I do have a Patreon that our book club is the opposite of this one, just so because literally all of my friends were the same month.
Like
and I was
Comfy
like, this is a lot.
Cozy and Revive, and so
Yeah,
it's a lot. And I want to participate in all of them, so that's why I also appreciate that yours is the off months.
Yeah, and different genres, so you can just pick and choose what you feel like doing.
Exactly.
I don't know Sky Shade. Do you guys?
It sounds familiar.
Is it the white book? No, you DNF that one.
I feel like that's
Sky Shade is the third to Light Lark.
Let me look.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Okay.
It goes Light Lark, Nightbane, Sky Shade.
Okay.
I don't even see it when I put that in.
I do. Like you said, third in Light Lark.
Okay.
Like it doesn't come out.
I was like, right? Yeah. Yep.
Well, my Amazon's not showing it. That's weird.
Tina said it took her over a week to read it. Yeah. I started this a week ago, but 50% happened yesterday and today.
You read other books. I was like, what are you reading? Not the book club book.
Those were only audiobooks though. That was the thing, is like I really wanted to tandem read this as much as possible.
You ended up reading this.
I know.
As an audio.
Hindsight, well, I would have finished this like a week ago if I would have just done audio, and I would have remembered absolutely nothing.
Oh well.
That's like even trying to like remember their names. I heard their names a gazillion times, but without physically seeing them all the time, I'm like,
that's me all the time.
I'll forget. I probably already forgot names.
That's why
I mean that's just me with all books.
The list at the beginning, I'm like, yes.
Because I read too many books. Like I can't keep all these names straight.
Exactly.
The only ones that I have straight are because I made an entire like this
I can't hear you.
Hang on, you
or,
like
so
your
those are the
audio.
only ones.
What
Your
was
audio
that?
cut out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Saying that like I have a whole list of Brandon Sanderson when I was reading those. That's like the only one I remember because I wrote each person down because he has like 100 characters.
Maybe I should do that.
Well, that's what I normally do. And then I use it as like a bookmark is I add the character list. Smart. But because I did it on my tablet and audio, I didn't do that. So I apologize. I will say that these are not the most clever questions. They're pretty basic, to be honest. But I figured having these two on, we'll talk about all the things eventually.
I read mine at the beginning of the month too, so like my memory is not as fresh.
And mine's a little fresher.
I feel that. Okay. So now I would love to know, out of 5 stars, what your guys' rating was. I already know both of yours, but you can let everyone else know, and I will save mine for after.
I gave it 6 stars, which I don't do often, but I just felt like it deserved it. So
yeah, and I gave it probably the same. 5 stars, but it might be my favorite book of the year.
Yeah, same.
And that's saying something because so in the it's romantasy genre of Goodreads, I voted for it to win.
Same.
And Apprentice to the Villain was one of the ones in there.
Wow.
And I voted for this one over that.
Didn't you read Throne of Glass this year, or was that last year?
Me? Yes, I finished Throne of Glass this year.
So even better than that?
I'd have to like mull it over because like I sobbed on the last book. It would be a high, like really close contender.
Yeah.
Well, and that's hard to compare because this is still unfinished. Like this is only book 1.
Yeah, I try my best not to compare.
Book 1 was 3 stars for me. And then Kingdom of Ash was just like, whew, So
yeah, same. Kingdom of Ash is my favorite book ever. So
yeah, it's fantastic.
Okay. I love that so many people love this book. I really, really liked it. And I think a lot had to do with me, how I was reading it. The week I decided to read this was just not the best mentally. I just couldn't focus on it. But to me, I'm giving it 4 stars.
That's not bad.
That's good.
I was worried. You had me worried.
I know. I thought
4's not bad.
I will say until about like a third into it, I was like, this is like 3 stars.
I was thinking you were gonna say like 2.
Oh no, I really did enjoy a lot of it, but I personally thought it was very similar to ACOTAR and like parts of Crescent City, and even like I've only read half of Throne of Glass and only the first Crescent City, and I just like was seeing so many little things, but I did really appreciate the second half of the book, and that's what like I'm like, okay, I do really like this. I am more attached to the characters now than I was in the beginning, and I can understand why so many people love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm at 4 stars because I do think once I reread it and the second book comes out, I will enjoy it that much more.
Yeah.
But
I think that's a good rating.
I think I'll definitely have to because she hasn't even announced.
Also, I think this is crazy. This is like her first fantasy. Like I was looking through her books.
Oh my gosh,
this is her first fantasy book. So I think like knowing this is her first time writing fantasy and like for how good it is, like
and how like approachable yet intricate the magic system was, like that,
and the amount of characters too, like that played different roles, like that,
and bringing them together.
Well, I saw like on the cover, doesn't it say like best-selling author? And I was like, I've never heard of her, so that makes sense.
She's all like dark romance. I looked through all of her books.
Yeah, all dark.
That makes so much sense.
I was like, when I looked through, I'm like, oh no,
I'll never read anything else.
Like. And I was really worried. And then I was like, okay, it's not that bad.
Well, like, it was spicier than what I was expecting, which if you think about it, it's probably not worse than like
It's probably her
Wing.
least spicy.
Probably.
So I just listened to Lights Out by what's her name?
I don't know, but I want to read that one.
It was so good. So good. 5 stars for me. And that was like my first real dark romance, and it is spicy. It is very, very spicy. So then when I hopped into this one, I was like, this is giving dark romance vibes. This is
well, that's why.
That's
what she writes.
Hoopla as well. So I was like, ooh.
I was a little worried. I'm like, oh no, I hope this isn't going to turn out real crazy. But it was, to me, I didn't think it was bad. And I think a lot of what I compare is like, well, it's not as bad as the 5th book of ACOTAR. So like, we're good.
I'm normally okay with it as long as there's there's
More
plot.
plot, yes.
Yeah, whereas sometimes I just read it and I'm like, nothing happened to bring them together. They're just doing it.
Exactly. See, I'm the same. Like, I don't care about spice. If you have a great plot, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
But like, if this is all this is about, like, I'm actually bored. Like, how many different ways can you write this?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, and I love spice, but it has to have context. If it's just not
same.
Not any connection or about the story, I just can't do it. To me,
yes,
I'll DNF it. Like, what was that? Icebreaker?
Same.
I DNF. I don't, and like I listen to the audiobook and I like don't DNF.
I DNF'd it.
And I DNF'd that, and I'm like, that wasn't for me.
My audiobook just came in for that.
So you haven't even read it?
No, because it was like I had it on hold, and then it came in like Halloween time frame, and I was like, well, I don't want to read it now. I'll read it Icebreaker in the winter.
I'll be interested to see what you think.
Well, Sam, next week we're reading how the neighbor,
my neighbor stole
Christmas. I'm reading that next week too.
Did you just DNF it?
Heather
DNF it.
Okay, I'm reading it with Corinna. We're buddy reading it.
Well, that my Patreons actually picked that for our discussion, our book club discussion too, and I'm like, cool, I already have to read that.
Perfect.
But yeah, I saw Heather DNF'd it, and I'm like, oh no.
Leah told me that I'll never see candy canes the same.
Well, I heard that from the beginning, so I was prepared for that. But yeah, and I think Liv just also DNF'd it. So there's some people have said they liked it, and then there's a couple DNFs.
We'll see.
I know going into it that it's gonna be spicy, so as long as there's like interest,
and I think kind of silly.
Yeah,
because I think Heather was saying like it is very much like these are the characters from the Grinch.
That's what I'm excited about. So that's why I want to try
it. That's why I think it's gonna be so funny. Like a next door neighbor called Max, I think she said, like the dog, and like all those characters are in it. So I think that was gonna be funny.
I'm excited for it. I don't ever take Christmas books too seriously to begin with.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited we're all reading it at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Names and plot points are why I like to read series all at once and not be in the middle of 6 Sam. I know she was like, what am I supposed to do starting all of these series?
Yeah.
Wendy is the best follow-through person I've ever met. She already finished, well, there's the next book, but she's done all of Spark.
Yeah, I was going to read the 3rd in the Trial of the Sun Queen this month, but I didn't get to it.
And I just hated the first book, so even
like
though
with ACOTAR, Throne
I have the second one, but I still haven't gotten to it.
I just always like to do back-to-back because I want it to be fresh in my mind. If I don't do that, I'm going to forget. And then I'm going to have to reread the book.
Should I read the second of the Trial of the Sun Queen?
I think you would like it better.
All right.
And then if you don't like it after that, then probably don't bother.
Well, I do own the second one too, so I might as well just read it.
You might as well.
But
yeah, it's a lot better.
I don't think I have. Oh, just kidding. I finished The Cruel Prince.
Oh yeah.
The first 3, and then now there's like a side one, and so I got the book for that. So I haven't completely finished that, but I'm like, shoot, have I ever finished an actual series? Oh, and with Belladonna, I read all that.
Did you finish ACOTAR?
ACOTAR, good one.
Did you finish Caraval?
I haven't even started it.
Oh, okay.
I have all 3.
Oh yeah.
I haven't started.
I finished that.
I mean, I'm up to date on Fourth Wing.
Yeah, that's like some of them. It's just like I'm up to date with it.
Well, there's 2, so.
To be fair, I read Iron Flame the first week it came out, so.
I waited because it got spoiled.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's why I read it the first week, so that I refused to go on social media.
I have a whole spreadsheet of series, and I'm just like, you should read another one of those. You know, it's like 60 deep. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize it was that many. It's fine.
I'm glad it's not just me. I read on Kindle Unlimited. Thanks for joining, Andy. 5 stars. 5. I need the next book.
Yes.
The
end saying that it came out October 2024 was like such a tease. I'm like, seriously, where is it?
What?
Yeah, at the end of the book, it says the second book coming out October 2024.
That's
where
so
is
exciting.
And then I have heard that it's not coming out till fall of 2025.
Yeah, so I did see that next year fall.
Aww.
On Google.
That's so far away.
I know. I'm really upset.
Mine doesn't say that.
It's all the way in the back.
Mine just ends. There's.
Oh, does it?
They're like, we're gonna.
Maybe it was on the Kindle version. It might have been on the Kindle version.
It must have been. That happened to me on another book. I was reading it, and it was like, read the it was a romance book, and it's like, read the second one in this time. And I was like, oh, cool. And I looked it up, and it was already past that time. And I was like, where's the second book?
I know.
It does say.
Yeah.
On the Kindle version.
Oh, okay. On the Kindle.
Lies.
That's come and gone, and now we're like a whole nother year. That's just rude.
Not only did it come and go, they didn't release the new edition until December 2024.
That's rough.
Yeah. I do love the butterfly, though. It's
beautiful. Do too. The butterflies are my favorite. Mm-hmm. I just don't like the guy.
Yeah.
I could be without that.
He's interesting.
I did prefer. I looked up fan art because I was having a hard time like picturing some of the characters. So I looked up fan art on Pinterest, and it was I don't know who does the AI generated ones, but it was like the same one that like a lot of the ACOTAR people like they've done for the ACOTAR set, and it looked like the same style, and they did that for them. And I'm like, okay, now that I have these people like in my mind, it's easier for me to like see it differently because for whatever reason, like. I just couldn't. I think it was confusing me that like Fisher had dark hair, but his sister was blonde, and then Hayden was blonde, but Saris had dark hair. And like it was just like too many like siblings with different hair colors.
Opposite.
Yeah, and like that was throwing me off. And then Renfis. And then there's like another R name of like the librarian. And those names I kept getting mixed up so much. And I don't remember what they are because I didn't write them down. But
I was like, who's Renfis? Oh no.
Isn't Renfis is the general, right?
Oh, I'm blurry. This happens every time.
That's so weird.
At least once every time I'm live, I go blurry.
Oh
no. Okay, another 4-star. I'm glad at how highly rated it is because you just don't know when you pick a book club pick, like how it's gonna be received. Definitely 5 stars for me. I liked it, but not as much as y'all. Yeah, that's how I feel. I gave it 5 stars. I really loved it. It's the having to wait for me. I know we should
Yep.
really. It's so hard too for book club picks because we let you like everyone pick, and it's like we could do like backlisted books and series, but no one ever picks that. We all want the
I
hype.
know. Maybe we should hold each other accountable and pick the second books in series.
I'm also fine with that. I'm also fine with backlist ones. Like
Me too. I read a lot of
every
backlist.
3 or something backlist because I have so many of the backlists
Same.
sometimes.
I'd be
And
fine
then
with that.
I'm like, oh, I feel like you did that with the Trial of the Sun Queen. That was already on the third
Yes, like
book.
Shadow and Bone and Six of Crows, I haven't read, and
Same.
everybody else has read it. I'm so behind.
Yeah.
Well,
Six of Crows is amazing.
I think that's like the next problem too, is if you get books that are too old, people have already read them and they want like a new book
Yeah.
or book
You
club.
could always alternate, like 1 month older, 1 month newer.
That is true.
And
And
I
I
do
think
feel like you'd be surprised the amount of people who are like, oh, I also haven't read that.
Yeah.
what did I just read that I was for Jordan, her Patreon, they just did the Unmaking of June Farrow. And
Mhm.
I was like, I have that book and I haven't read it, but I didn't get it done in time.
I didn't either.
Because that's one that
I didn't hear the best from that one.
I was waiting on the library and it never came in. So
that's a bummer. I did not have time, as you
I
guys
didn't
can
have
tell.
time anyway, so I was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
I read this one within 2 days prior. I will say April and I did do Iron Flame when it came out as a book club pick because we knew everybody was hyped about it. We are not going to do Onyx Storm, but I think because I just want to know what everybody thinks, I might do like a bonus discussion for anyone at the end because it comes out
January or February?
Yeah, January 21st, I think. So like I might do something in February for it so it
That would
gives
be
people
fun.
time because it was so fun to like talk about all the theories right when it came out. So I might do something like in February with it.
That is the finale, correct?
Is it?
No, there'll be 5 books.
Oh yeah, it was supposed to be 3 and then she got signed on for 5.
Good.
Yes, don't end yet.
Don't
yes, it's
end.
other parts like I don't want it to end. Tina said same. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not alone, but I'm also so happy at how many people absolutely loved this.
Hey, everybody's different.
I did see a lot of similarities to ACOTAR, but a lot of unique storyline too. And if you guys listen to the audio, the same guy that does Reese for ACOTAR was the male narrator in this. And I don't think that persuaded me per se, but I did get really hung up that he used his normal voice for both Carrion and Kingfisher. And so when they were together in a room talking, it was very confusing for me to know who was talking if I wasn't fully paying attention.
Yeah, that would confuse me.
But besides that, I was like, this is the same guy making all of these crazy voices because for like Renfist, he did like an Irish or Scottish accent. I don't know that it was
Scottish, yeah.
a Scottish accent, and it was really good.
It was actually funny because when he first came in the audio, because there was a few guys like popping up in the audio, and I'm like, all right, who is going to be her lover? And Renfist shows up and he has this brogue accent, and I'm like, please let it not be this guy because I'm not going to be able to deal with him doing this accent the entire time because it's good, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
So I was like, if he's going to be like this the entire time, I'm not going to be okay.
Well, and I pictured him as like super, super old, and that's why I was like, I need fan art, and he's gorgeous.
Well,
like,
yeah, he's his brother, brother. They're about the same age, thousands. I need to see this now.
I'm just gonna say this now because like that's like perfect segue for that. But like during the spicy scene, she was like blown away and like mind blown. I'm like, he has had thousands of years to perfect this. He should be good at it. Like, that's all I could think.
Well, that's every Fae book.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Yeah.
With the human
But I
girl
was like-
always like, oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
They have like in ACOTAR, they're hundreds of years old, and this they're like, "Psh, we're gonna put that to shame. They're gonna be
Are they only hundreds in ACOTAR?
What?
I don't remember, to be honest.
They're only hundreds in ACOTAR?
I think Reese is 500.
Oh, okay, yeah. Only.
Compared to like what is Kingfisher? Wasn't he like 1700?
Yeah, he was
Yeah, that's pretty old.
Yeah.
It's a long time. 5 stars. It has been a while since a book grabbed my attention from the start. It was great. Oh, that makes me so happy. It's definitely not Haunting Adeline. That is on my TBR list. I want to read that one so bad.
I bought it today I went to a library book sale place that they have like a nice little bookshop and everything, and they were $3 a piece for the first and second one. So I got the first and second one.
That's exciting. I don't have that one, but I want it and I want to read it. And now that I've read or like and listened to Lights Out, I'm like, I could handle Haunting Adeline. Yeah. I don't want to talk about how many series I'm in the middle of.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's easier to talk about the ones I have finished. Duologies are great because I feel like I've done a lot better with duologies.
Yeah. Or at least that I'm like caught up. That's what matters.
Mm-hmm. ACOTAR, Caraval, and Belladonna are the only series you brought up that I am not waiting on the next book. Plus, I'm waiting on the next book for the Everseas series. Dang. We're not gonna get into it anymore because I have so many books I need to read.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, these are really, really basic questions because I don't know. I was like, what? There's so many you can ask, and then I was like, we'll be here for hours. Okay. Who was your favorite character? I'll be honest. In the beginning, I was not a huge. I liked Ceres, but I wasn't anything special, and I actually didn't like Kingfisher that much in the beginning.
Well, he was a jerk. Yeah, you were supposed to like him.
But I knew that. I was like, he's our guy. And I wasn't a fan. But do you know who stole my heart from the beginning? Onyx. I loved Onyx, the fox. I was obsessed.
Oh yeah.
Who doesn't like a fox?
I just loved I was kind of disappointed the lack of Onyx towards the end, but I get it. I understand why they weren't in it, but I'm obsessed. I love that she had a fun little sidekick that bit her in the beginning. Like I cackled at that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That one's hard. I feel like I really liked and I cannot remember his name, but Kingfisher's like best friend. What was his name?
Oh,
the guy
I know what you mean.
That's always in the house with him.
Lorith?
I think so.
The one that he sold his
like the table scene, the guy that was at the table laughing.
I think that was Renfis.
Either the General Renfis or the friend that he like gave part of his soul to was Lorith.
No, Renfis.
Okay.
Yeah. I liked him a lot.
I did too.
I felt like he was funny and he was also just a really, really great friend.
The Scottish one, right?
Mm-hmm.
The one with the accent?
Well, she didn't listen
I didn't do audio.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Yeah. Eyeballs.
I can't remember names.
Which is great. But that blows my mind that you read it without the audio. I would have been stuck on all the names from the get-go, even with the pronunciation guide. But no, I really liked him at first. And like I said, he sounded so old in the beginning. And that's why I was like, I just need to look up like fan art. And I was like, yep, I like him.
Yeah.
Without getting like super spoilery, that's like he reminded me of Cass.
Yeah.
so much, and like that's where I'm like, this is very similar. But I really liked him too, especially
Yeah.
because he was very protective of Saris, and
the sister.
Yes.
yes.
That's what I liked so much, was when that happened, I was like,
And there were so many characters, especially at the end too. That's where I was like, there's a lot of people. It felt like Crescent City. If any of
yeah.
you guys have read the first Crescent City, there's a lot of things going on, a lot of worlds, a lot of characters, a lot of different types of characters. I also am still curious about like the fire sprites too.
Yeah.
Like he was like, at first I thought he didn't like Saris, but then the more it went on, it was like, no, he was like infatuated with her. And so I found that really like interesting too. Like I wonder, I don't know. Like I'm just curious to learn more about like all the characters and their backgrounds.
So one of my favorites, and at the beginning I really did not like him, was what is his name? Core?
Is it Carrion or
Carrion?
Carrion?
Okay.
You didn't like him in the beginning?
I hated him.
I loved him.
Well, I didn't hate him. I didn't really like him. Like I wasn't vibed. I was like, he's kind of funny. Like, but then he brings him back instead of the brother. Who
that was so funny.
Side note, I wish the brother had died from the beginning. But he brings this guy back, and I was like, there's gonna be a love triangle. And I hate love triangles. But there was no love triangle. He was hilarious throughout the whole entire
He was so funny.
He was so funny. Like, I was just laughing every time he was there. I was like, this is the best. And then like his whole development towards the end was so interesting. But yeah, I was like, as soon as the dinner scene was probably one of my favorite scenes.
Yes. And then his little commentary, like when she was always trying to figure out how to do the
maybe you should ask it. Like,
stuff.
did you ask it?
Like that was so funny. And her trying to get the shards of the sword out of the ceiling.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Are you talking to it?" He's just so funny.
Yeah. I thought he was the best comic relief, and just like, but then he wasn't just the comic relief. He had so much more to him. So he was probably one of my favorites because he added a lot. And he was really
like how he asked him to take a bath when he first got there.
Yeah, he was like, and then they were like rubbing me with moss and stuff.
And he was like, it was fine. Like, I didn't mind it.
And then at the end, when he's like, well, you didn't let me introduce myself fully. That's on you.
That killed me. Like, that part, I was like, yes.
I know. When it happened, I was like screaming. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. And then, like, he's like, well, you didn't let me introduce myself. I was like, whoa.
Well, and I think that's what was so lovable about him, too, is that he plays so dumb.
Yeah.
He just, like, plays this, like, guy that just cares about nothing, is just happy to be there. Yes. And he actually has all of this knowledge that he just inconveniently and conveniently tells people, like, oh, like, your grandma didn't have a book that told you all this stuff. And he's like, well, yeah, she wasn't actually my grandma. And it's like, you have been here with all this knowledge and you just now felt the need. And he's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So
he was probably my favorite.
I actually told Wendy that so when Saris goes in the Quicksilver, once she's there and she's all bathed and they're like, she's in the new world, I got really bored. I was like, oh, okay, like, cool. And then, Kingfisher was just being a jerk. I was like, okay, cool, yes, we get it, and all this stuff.
That part was a little bored. I agree.
That's when I was like really struggling.
Okay.
And then when Fisher goes and brings back Carrion, that's when after that, then I was enjoying it so much more. Yeah. Because I feel like it had that balance of like
fruity.
It's different, it's funny. And I also thought they were gonna do a love triangle too, which I also hate.
Yeah.
But then when she shot him down and it wasn't. I was like, okay, I'm
like right
enjoying this
away.
so much more.
And
like,
he doesn't really care either. So I was like, good.
And I was thankful that like she was like, I'm gonna make it seem like it and then squash it. I'm not gonna carry it out.
Yeah, not like linger the whole entire time. Like maybe. But and then him purposefully making the other male jealous, even though he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like, he's all like, ooh, like I can do this. Like
he was
I don't
just
care.
so funny. Like always egging it on. Like
well, like calling her like my ex, and she's like, I wasn't your ex.
Yeah.
Like, he just always has to like put little jabs out there. And he's like, you can talk to him about like to me about him. And just stop talking. I love
and then like him, Kingfisher getting mad about them sharing food all the time.
Yeah.
What was that scene where he like knocked the nuts out of his hand or something?
He's like, no quiche for you.
I forget, but I think they were sharing nuts and he like threw it down or something.
Yeah.
Well, and like even like Carrion was like, it's not cake, it's a quiche. And like, he just always has to be like
little quips.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, Renfis is the general. Okay. See, there was another R name of the librarian too.
Maybe that's who this is. Rosarius?
Yes.
Is that the librarian?
Mm-hmm.
I liked him too. He was cute.
But that's why I was like, 2 weird R names. I can't do it. I'm already confused.
I can't do it.
I just like my brain. I'm not dyslexic, but it feels like it when it comes to like pronunciation of names I'm not used to.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird. And like it has to get ingrained into my brain and then I can differentiate. But in a new book, new fantasy,
they have to have different first letters. Like
that's really all I need.
Yep.
Throne of Glass, Zodiac Academy, Spark of the Everflame, Belladonna, Lightlark, just to name a few.
Well, like I said, I think my list is over 50.
Oh, yeah.
Like different series I'm in the middle of.
I love that you
have
a
doing too bad.
Hmm?
I'm not doing too bad. Now, I feel like when it gets to cozy mysteries, those are probably not going to finish.
Some of those are on there, and I'm like, I should take these off because
I'm not going to try to finish all of those.
Yeah. Or like romance that are not perfect. They're like a series, but kind of not.
Yeah.
We needed to do an Onyx Storm discussion next month. It probably won't be in January. It will be in February to give people more time. But I'm actually going to a midnight release with the Wendy in the comments because we live only an hour away from each other. So we're going to a Barnes & Noble midnight release of Onyx Storm. So
that's fine.
I will be reading that night when I get home.
Nice.
I can't wait. Renfis and Lorith were my favorite. Yes, and I was really confused by Lorith coming in and being like such a like strong character and like a best friend. It just felt like later on in the book. But he reminded me of Az, I will say. Not a ton, not as much, but I'm on a lot of TikTok theories, and there's like a theory that like Az likes to sing.
Oh.
And so when Lauren like is like, I was actually a singer, I was like, he's Az. This worked out perfectly.
It's kind of funny because I did not compare this book at all
to
ACOTAR. Like
I don't see any similarities.
Didn't cross my mind once.
Only the end where they're in like the maze type thing did that.
That was just Harry Potter. I was like,
but
and then there's the giant spider, of course.
Okay, yeah, I will list off the ones I can think of, but I was almost made a list because it was crazy. It was just like the general best friend had me, the bargaining, the tattoos, like fated mates, the mind talk. Like I realize that's a lot of stuff that happens in everything.
This was more from Blood and Ash, like because that is a vampire.
I haven't read that one yet.
I haven't read that one.
That one's really good. You should read it. It's my
I definitely want to.
It's been on my TBR too, but I'm like.
But I think that the similarities you're talking about, though, are in general with like fae type.
Yeah.
That's like
bargaining is very
that
fae.
just goes along with fae in general.
But that's like when I read this book, I didn't see any similarities to ACOTAR. Where
there's high fae, and then there's fairy folk, and that one is fairy folk Cruel Prince is fairy folk. And
but they do bargaining in that one.
They do a lot of bargaining in that one, yeah.
And the fae can't lie. So like that tracks with that. And I get like a lot of them are big themes.
I do like it when they do the fae can't lie, because that's always a really interesting one.
Oh, and I knew that I was like, she is not paying attention to these words when that was happening.
She's like, I've got this.
And I think bringing in the vampires was really interesting.
Super interesting.
That definitely made it like the 3 siblings at the end. I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I did not expect that at all.
I didn't either.
Not at all.
I was really thrown because I will say that I felt like whoever the lady is, I forget her name, reminded me of Amarantha off of ACOTAR.
It starts with an M.
Like, just like her.
I thought she was going to be a vampire. But she was not.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it. But I like how they did that. Like, each sibling was a different species. And I really did enjoy that.
And like the weird, what was it, like a bet, or what is it? What exactly did he make about the coin?
The deal.
Yeah, the deal he made. Was it like a blood oath that he made?
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool how she like figured that out in the end.
Madra.
And then it got rid of him.
Madra. I knew it started with an M.
Yeah, well,
she was such a big character in the beginning, and then like nothing to do with her, and then she came up the end. I'm like, who is that? I'm like, I know her, but like, and I was like, oh,
yeah. And the fact they all pretended like they hated each other, but they really didn't. That was weird.
Yeah.
I'm excited to eventually reread this because I know there's so much more I will understand next time. Because there's so much, it just went right over my head. I'm like, this cool. That's crazy. I don't know what's happening.
There were a few times I was like, I'd have to reread that again.
Yeah. Renfis, I pictured Highlander.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, especially because he had like the shaved sides and then the braids and then the accent.
I actually pictured, if you've read or watched Outlander, like the first season, what is his name? McDougal, the bald-headed guy.
Yeah.
Who's kind of bad, but not. He's like, he's my favorite actually, because him in real life, he and the guy who plays the main character, oh, that's who it is. I like my imagining better. I'm gonna find mine
because I just pictured him as like this old dude for the longest time. This one, he has more facial hair.
Yeah.
But
that just looks like, doesn't that look like Pirates of the Caribbean? What's his name a little bit?
Orlando.
Yeah, Orlando Bloom. That's probably where the AI came.
Side note, I always pictured Lorith as like a Viking type dude.
Oh, Lorith? Yeah, I did see that. But Renfis was, I'll find him while you're talking.
Yes, Carla, he was definitely a Highlander. I still have not done any audiobooks. Girl, you're missing out. I love audiobooks. They changed my life. Get Hoopla. Well, get a library card. Get Libby. Get Hoopla. Change your life.
I love this man.
Okay.
His name is Graham McTavish, and he's like in Outlander, but he's been like a dwarf in The Hobbit, and he's been in a bunch of things, and I love him. I think in like real life he's hilarious. And that's who it reminded me of.
I love that. I know I didn't do any like fan casting because honestly, I'm so bad at that.
Oh,
That
me
was
too.
it. Just because he had that Highland voice, I was like, got it.
You're like, you? This.
This is you.
Hilarious when Fisher ordered Carrion to be scrubbed clean of the smell of Sarah's.
That whole him describing that whole thing was so funny.
And I did love that, like, that's why he mixed them up. Because I was really confused at first. I was like,
I know.
please don't tell me there was
They're
incest.
related?
Please don't tell me. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I had a friend who was worried about that. She's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "I promise it's not what you think."
I was also thinking, I was like, did she like bleed on him or something? Like, like what happened?
I was so confused too. And then when it all happened, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes so much more sense. Which with the whole smell thing, I will say that gave me Twilight vibes. All I could think was like Edward. When he's like, "You smell so good." I was like, it's Edward, like
yeah.
I thought it was really funny too when he like told her that she had to stay in bed and like commanded it, and so she was stuck there for like days. And
she could only get up to go to the bathroom. Oh, I would have been so mad.
I thought it was funny when he was just like, "Girl, calm yourself. I can smell it."
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Could you imagine like
right?
any emotion,
Could you imagine?
really?
Like just think about that. Like if people just immediately know what you're feeling or thinking.
I'd be so upset. And then they would smell it. That I was upset. Like, oh, you're upset.
I'd be so embarrassed, and then I'd be more embarrassed.
Yeah, that's like unfair.
Yeah.
Also, I wouldn't want to smell that all the time either. I'd be like, no, thank you.
No.
Or like how everybody knows that they did it.
Yeah.
Like everyone.
Well, I always think of Azriel for that one at least, where it's just like Cassian and Nesta, and he's just like walking by. It's like awkward. Why do I live here?
Yeah, and they're like acting like nothing happened. He's like, guys,
He's
I
like,
know.
cool,
like, hold on.
Yeah.
Laura doesn't have a favorite, but she agrees with everything we have said. Yeah, at first, like, I wasn't super attached, but then as it goes on, like, you learn so much more about people and, like, why they're as complex, and then, by the end, I love Fisher.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, I was like, okay, I understand you're supposed to, like, be this morally gray, moody guy, but you're really turning me off right now.
That's my favorite, though.
I also thought it was funny when it was just like, I can't talk about it, and, like, they're just like, "Where have you been?" And he's like, "I'm not gonna tell you." And the other guy's like, "You need to tell the story." "No, I won't tell it." And I was like, oh gosh, like, you're so tortured.
Yeah.
See, I normally love the douchebag. That's
me.
like
I always like bad guy, but like you find out, you know, they truly care. Like that's my favorite.
That's my favorite too. But his went on for a long time, I feel like, compared to other people. I was like, you are just being really mean.
It's true enemies to lovers.
Yeah. And I do like appreciate that because that's my favorite. I love enemies to lovers, and I hate it. Like I hate it in some books where they're like they're enemies. I'm like, they were enemies for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
The character development for me works so well. It felt like it got the emotion attachment to each character that the author was going for. Yeah.
Except for the brother. Hate the brother.
He was in that book for like 10 minutes and you're like, I hate him.
He was the problem. He was the whole problem of this whole story.
You're gonna love him by the second book.
I know, they're gonna bring him in. And they're gonna give him some love interest. I just wanted him to die.
Speaking of like Carrion, when he like Danya was like going out and he like made a comment that he really liked her, and Saris was like, not her, anyone but her, and he's like, I love a girl with a wicked tongue and like a temper or whatever. And I was like, I love him. If they end up together, could you imagine that grumpy sunshine?
I cannot wait for Danya's. Like Saris, the whole time she's just like, she's such a she's such a bitch. She's so terrible. I'm like, you didn't even give her the time of day. Like, you didn't even try. You're saying she's this way. Like, did you realize all the stuff she's gone through? And then you broke her sword and gave it to somebody else? You think she has a reason for being upset?
Yeah. And then she lost her hand because of it.
Yeah,
when Laura got her sword, I was like, oh no.
I was hurt for her. Like, I wanted him to get the sword, but at the same time, it was just like,
she did get the short end of the
this
stick.
person out at all, and you're making her seem like she's the bad guy, but she's not.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I was there for it.
Yeah, I hope they get together.
When Fisher told Carrion not to call her Sunshine and then rattled off all those poetic words he could call
She's not the
call
sun,
her
she's
was worthy. Yeah, that whole part. And then like afterwards, Saris was like, does he even like me? I'm like, do you not listen to what this man is saying? Like, I would have melted right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I would have been flushed and crazy, and he'd be like, I'm
You would have smelled me.
It made sense with who he was, and that she said he was one of her best in bed. Yeah, well, like, and then like finding out that Carrion was secretly like he's Fae, right?
Yeah.
And then like her being obsessed with him in the beginning, like that all was like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
He was also good, like.
I feel like it's crazy, the ending, and like them basically being like, we intervened with your fate. Like, what?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I thought that made the book like 10 times better. I was like, what is happening right now? They're like, this is what happened. We intervened and then you still found each other. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, that was the part that I absolutely like melted at. I was like, that is so cool.
So like she was supposed to be Fae, right? Like according to how she originally was supposed to be.
And that his mother saw that as an oracle.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, well, you're not Fae. Well, she was supposed to be.
That's so crazy to me.
And like, I knew something. Like when they were going through and she was looking at all the statues and they like talked about him and it was like the god of chaos. And I'm like, that's gonna come back. I just don't know how. And then when it happened, I was like, that is not what I was expecting.
No, I know.
I love it.
Well, when it first happened, Kingfisher hadn't really been introduced as the love interest. And I was like, Chaos is the love interest, obviously. But then it kind of veered off. And I was like, okay, maybe not.
I did think I don't know. It was kind of different how like the girls, like the daughters of Chaos were like, how was sleeping with him? And I'm like, what? Like,
that was a little weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
Like that little TMI, guys.
It was like that felt like a romance author was writing that portion.
Yeah. that was a little off. But then after that, I was like, this is amazing. Yeah, the girls can go run off and do whatever, and we'll have serious conversations now.
Oh, that's who I was talking about. He was an Outlander.
Dougal Mackenzie. That
was his name in the show.
I love Outlander.
I read the books. I have not watched the show.
I am the opposite. I watched the show and I have not read the books, and I'm planning to start that soon.
I really liked the books. They were just a lot of essay, which is not. I'm very uncomfortable with that.
The show is probably way worse.
That's what I've heard.
I watched the first 2, maybe 3 seasons. And then I read the first book and it was so boring. Like that was the time where the show was better. Like everything that could have gone wrong happened to her in that book. And I was just so over it. Like, and then she escaped, and then there were wolves that were going to eat her. And then she escaped, and then this happened. I was like, can we just not? And so I was very bored. And they really like played on the fact that he is so much younger in the book, and he was always, I like wrote it down how many times it happened, but he was always blinking shyly at her. It's like he blinked shyly. He blinked.
You always pick up on like these crazy
so
details.
annoying. I was like, why is he always blinking? And why is it always like
what does the wind taste
Why is he
like?
always blinking? We always blink.
I'm just like I'm like multiple times in a row and it's shyly. Shyly. I'm like, all right.
I love it. Graham McTavish is the actor's name from Outlander. Most of these things are taken from folklore, so you have similarities, but ACOTAR was not my introduction to fantasy, so my mind doesn't go straight to ACOTAR comparisons. Yeah, and I know that's just something. It was just like so many of these things, and like when they brought up the Ouroboros or Ouroboros, however you say that, the snake eating
Borealis?
the snake eating its tail.
Yeah.
Like I know that's like from lore and stuff, and I was like, out of all the things, why did they bring that up in this book? Like
that is actually in the Wheel of Time, way before ACOTAR.
And see, like I know that stuff is gonna happen. There were so many things that to me it felt, and then just reading the first Crescent City with all the different characters, like a fire sprite, like there's just a lot of things that I was like, out of all the, I know there's these characters, but out of all of them, why are you picking these ones?
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't a deal breaker. I still gave it 4 stars.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like it's very similar. I did like how their tattoos moved, though.
Oh my gosh, that was so interesting.
That was really cool. That reminded me of Maui from Moana. I just always have to relate it to something, apparently.
Yeah.
The vampire scenes made me think of Game of Thrones and the White Walkers. That's exactly what I thought of, too.
I've never seen either.
Terrifying and scary and, like, mindless and coming at you from across the big,
I did like that part.
thing.
Yeah, if you read From Blood and Ash, the vampires are, like, bad. So
I do feel like a lot of the romantasy I've read, the bad, like, creatures aren't as bad. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like in this one, it was a lot more like, oh, this is really, like, scary, and this is how it really should be. Like,
that's what I like.
In ACOTAR, how, like, the Surreal was, like, supposed to be bad, but, like, ended up not being that bad. You know what I mean?
Horrible.
Yeah. Like, in real life, that should be terrifying. Like, you don't become their friend.
Yeah.
I did love that, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. I know, and that's the part where, like, the vampires coming across and, like, that and her describing, like, oh my gosh, it was, like, a young boy, and it was this lady dragging a doll. It's not a doll. Like, it's creepy.
Yeah.
And when she killed Malcolm, right? It was Malcolm, he was like, well, I don't have a soul, so it doesn't matter to me. Like, it's like, that's what I like in a bad guy. Like,
yeah, I do think that made it different, and I feel like there were just a little bit higher stakes.
Yeah.
Towards the last half.
Yeah, the last half was crazy. I can't wait to, like, reread it because so much happened that my brain, I'm surprised I'm remembering so many things right now. Yeah, Hayden was just an unnecessary plot point to get Ceres to the Quicksilver in this book.
Yeah.
But then it also brought us Carrie in because of the mix-up. And
that is, like, the funniest thing still.
The only thing he was worth.
Do you know what thing I did also really appreciate that was very different? Is that she admitted that she didn't want to go back. Like,
yeah.
And it was like, thank you. Please understand that this world is so much better for you.
Yeah, I was sitting there thinking, like, why do you even want to go home? Like, you weren't even eating. Like, you didn't drink water.
Yeah.
She's like, I want to go back just to see if they're dead.
Yeah.
It's
like, okay.
Like, I get that.
Yeah.
But then I was thankful that eventually she's like, I don't want to leave. It's like, smart girl. Smart girl.
Yeah, but I do, unlike Yvette, I do want to see the brother come back.
Oh, he's for sure coming back.
Like, and I want her to, like, save him.
Yeah, he's gonna come back. He's gonna be a pain.
Okay, so if she's supposed to be Fae, what was he?
That's a
Like
fair question.
maybe
Like,
you
does
think
he have
that.
powers?
Well, she was supposed to be Fae, but she was born instead. I was about to say to a Muggle, but
That's better than human.
human. There we go. She was born a human. So maybe he was just like he would have been born to those humans anyways, and she was like
maybe.
extra.
Okay, I've thought of more things that I just remembered. I promise I won't harp on it, but like the winter solstice, like courts,
There were seasons. No, just kidding.
like
There's
it was
seasons.
just the fact that like they went to celebrate in a small town for winter solstice. And it was this town where like things were happier and more content. And then what else? I
But
just
like
got it.
the thing is, if
It's
I
folklore.
could show you all the things that ACOTAR feels from other things.
I know.
It's
But
you
to
have
me,
to
I'm
think.
like, I just need it to be a little different. Like, why can't we just to have like not seasonal named courts, even though it is
But
very
that's in
easy to
every Fae book.
It is. It's
Like,
in every book, sadly.
and that's I just struggle with that. I think that's where I'm just like hitting a point where I'm like reading so much that I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, that's where you just have to mix up genres. That's what I do because I will say like fantasy, they're all going to pull from folklore
Yeah.
and similar themes. The one thing that I get annoyed with is that a lot of fantasies, the main character ends up being like, surprise, I'm actually a queen. I mean, I feel like everyone does that.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure this is where this is headed. And I mean, I guess it still could be. But like
Well,
so far
technically it
she's
did.
not. Huh?
Technically, she's gonna be the vampire queen.
But
still different.
She wasn't born that way.
She wasn't fated for that. Yeah.
Which is way better.
Which
Yeah.
I did enjoy that it was different because I agree too. And especially they're like, I have these weird powers. It can't be me. It's like really? You know it's gonna be you.
And her being like an alchemist, like I haven't read one fantasy that's like that.
No.
And I loved like her forging stuff. I don't know. I really liked that. I thought that was so different.
It was super cool.
Yeah.
I have watched the show and I'm on the 5th book. I think the books are worse. It's just the visuals with the show for Outlander.
Yeah. Yeah, I stopped watching it because I was getting kind of depressed. So I was like, this feels like nothing good can happen for them.
Just a rough life here.
Yeah.
I could not get into Outlander books at all. The show is good though. See, I listened to them, but yeah, the essay and that, it was just I'm not gonna continue with it. I really want to watch the show, but I think I'll have to skip those episodes, which it sounds like there's a lot.
There's a lot.
It's just I can't.
What are you saying? The essay?
What?
Yeah, sexual assault.
Oh, S-A. I was thinking E-S-S.
Yeah, because I think YouTube, don't they like remove stuff if you actually say it? I think that's why everybody abbreviates it.
I know on TikTok and stuff you cannot say like anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, people normally say essay.
I thought you were saying like a paragraph is an essay.
No.
And I was going, what? Okay.
My name without the M.
Got it.
That's funny.
It's like, what's wrong with essays?
It is an essay, a long essay. The book.
I was like, it's a really long book, I
guess. The sexual assault, I can't handle.
Yeah, no, it was bad.
And then the second one, I'm like, okay, it'll be done and over. Nope, they bring it up all
somebody
the time.
else gets it. Somebody new each time.
Nonstop. And I'm like, yeah, this is just not for me.
Yeah.
Fae come from the nature folklore. It's going to be very heavy on seasons in nature. I know. I like it when they're just a little bit different, but I was reading this.
Have it be the seasons, or you're gonna have it be the elements. So it's gonna be...
and like I said, the people it was just little things I was like, "Oh, that reminds me of that, and that reminds me of that," and it just was beginning to be a lot. But I wasn't as bad as Powerless. Like, when I read
I haven't read that one
Powerless
yet.
Okay, have you read The Red Queen?
Mm-mm.
No, not yet.
Okay, see, I read The Red Queen, and I've read The Hunger Games, and that was just, like, every section felt like it was cut and paste for that, and I struggled with that, and ever since then, I think that's why now I compare things harshly.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed this one so much more than I enjoyed Powerless, but people that haven't read The Red Queen really enjoy Powerless.
Oh, good. Because I haven't.
Me
But
either.
I have not read The Red Queen yet.
And I actually, because my husband was listening to Powerless, I'm like, please don't listen to that. Listen to The Red Queen, because the whole trilogy is on Hoopla, and he listened to it within like 3-4 days. He loved it. And I was like, I just thought The Red Queen was better.
I've heard
So
really good things about Red Queen.
read Powerless first, and then
Yeah.
because I do think it's better. But that's just my personal opinion. My husband watches the show with me, and his favorite thing to say is she really hates her main characters. Aw.
Yeah.
That's like Grey's Anatomy.
I was gonna say. I
Everybody's
tried to get my husband to watch that,
Literally
and then when
everyone
the
dies.
first
Everybody
character dies, he was like, "I can't watch it anymore." I'm like, "Well, you'll be really disappointed if you continue with this show."
Literally, my husband and I, like, that's one of my favorite shows. And my husband and I watched all of that. And we were thinking all the time, like, I feel like Shonda Rhimes is like a really depressed person and just wants to kill everyone in her show.
But then she does Bridgerton.
Yeah, that was her redemption.
That's because I did not know that.
She's like, let's have these be in love and they get to live.
Well, watch, they probably all die. She's gonna add that in later.
Yeah.
That'll be the 4th season if we ever get it.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, we've been talking about this, but I also want to know, everybody that's here with us, like what your favorite part or scene was.
It's all gonna be the same.
There were so many parts that I just thought were really, really great.
The dinner scene.
Yep.
The dinner scene was my favorite.
Yeah.
I thought it was so funny.
I also really loved, like, when she was making Lorith's sword, when she was first doing it, the amount of detail that they were talking about the actual sword, I loved that.
I thought that was very interesting. And then him sculpting it and like discussing how that gets made, like getting the clay, all of that stuff.
Yeah, and she's like, "Do you?" I did like when she's like, "Do you whittle wood?" And he's like, "I actually do." And Corian was like, "What can't he do?"
I know. I also thought it was really
with the
funny,
knife in the tree.
Yeah, I thought about that later, and like he says, like at the time, he never got to throw the knife in the tree. Carrion never did because Lorith never missed. But he's also Fae, and he never got a chance. And I was like, I wonder if he would have done really well at it, you know?
Right, now looking back on all of it.
Yeah.
I also really enjoyed, like, when Saris thought she was stealing the ring and she was being so sneaky. And Fisher was like, I knew the whole time. You like, ripped it off my hand. Like, I could tell it was crazy. But then in the end, how she steals the coin back, like, I just loved how, like, that intertwined.
Oh my gosh, can we talk about when he throws her on the bed and calls her a bad human?
I love that part.
Okay.
Bad human.
Okay, sorry.
That part's so funny.
So the next question, because I want to know other people's favorite scenes still too. But the next question is going to be, what was your favorite nickname that Fisher had for Saris? Because I enjoyed the nicknames so much. And then finding out like what and I guess this is part of the scene, what OSHA actually means and represents with the butterflies, and like him like, oh yeah, they're
Oh my
butterflies, blah, blah,
gosh,
blah, blah.
yes,
But then
that
going
scene.
into detail on that, I did really
Oh
like
my
I
god.
highlighted that whole page, like,
Yep.
when he was like, "This is what she thought he'd been insulting her from the
Mhm.
very beginning,
Mhm.
and I'm like, "Oh my gosh,
But
this
he'd
is
been
so
in love
good."
with her from the very beginning. The whole time? The whole time.
Yeah.
Like, his nickname she thought was mean, like, that's so good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the reason why he hadn't been saying her name and, like, all of that, like, it was just I loved all of those
Yeah.
elements that came together at the end.
Yeah.
I'm sure when I reread it, it'll be a 5 stars, 'cause the
Yeah.
more I'm talking about it, the more I'm like, I
It's
really did
because
like
you
this.
had to rush, that's why.
Just reread it.
Yeah, I had to rush, and, like, the first half, I literally cannot tell you how I would, like, sit and read, and I'm just like, I would close my iPad, and the next morning, I'd be like, "I really don't remember anything." Just because,
Yeah.
like, I'm just, mentally
It's
exhausted.
probably because you had to
Um,
rush, and then you're just dealing with a lot.
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I also I personally liked it. The little this makes so much sense now, her being the dark romance writer, because when he called her a good girl, I'm like, "You don't get this in fantasy." Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, I enjoyed that. I was not
Yeah.
expecting that.
That's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Her spicy scenes were well written.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, just like the bad human and like he had so many names he would just come up with. I almost wrote them all down and I didn't. Now I forget because like some of them were like repetitive and then he would just come off with some off the wall ones.
Yeah. I can't remember them now either, but they were really funny.
Um,
I can get tired of nicknames, so I liked that these ones were still I liked the OSHA and the bad human. Like
well,
I just read a book and her name is Edwina and he calls her Weenie and I was like, I hate this. Like and she's like, that's a term of endearment. I was like, no, it's not.
also one of my favorite nicknames is mate, like your mate and like all of that. I was like, I don't like I love fated mates. Fated mates is like my
Yeah.
favorite.
Same.
Yeah.
Um, I loved every scene with Onyx. He's my favorite. He was just so great.
We need
I love
more.
it. I can't wait for all like the fan things with him. Fan
Yeah, I liked
art,
him
fan
in the bag. Like he was in the bag and he's just like she's like, I need my satchel, I need my bag, I need my he's like, you don't really need it. Like she's like, no, I need it. And he still lets her bring the fox with them and everything. It was like
mhm.
so cute.
When Lorith was embarrassed to talk about the Fae biting.
That was hilarious.
And he's like, "We don't really talk about that." And she's like, "I need to know." And he's like, "Well, this isn't really the place." And
It's like a sex thing.
yeah.
Like, I don't know how to say this politely.
Please stop asking me.
Yeah.
I think my favorite scene was when Lorith singing to his sword. I have a lot though. Yeah, that was there's a
I
lot.
thought that was kind of sad because then they lost that song.
Uh yeah, that also I
I
Like,
was
when
like,
they
very
don't
upset.
remember,
none of that.
afterwards.
I thought that was so sad.
But I thought like I did like that because now it's like the theory. So what's going to happen to like erase that or change that or like what are they going to do? You know what I mean? Like to me that just resonated so much with like the real world, like erasing history and rewriting history and how like
But they
different
still
countries.
remember, like, they still remember the battle. They just don't
Mhm.
remember the song of it.
What he did for it though. But that's how
Oh, true. How the sword came to be. Yeah.
but that's also how so many of like history was told back then too.
Mhm.
Um, that's what I really liked about A Fire Endless by Rebecca Ross
Mhm.
is about
Yeah.
a bard.
That was very beautiful. Yeah.
And so
I've
like
only read
I
the
think
first
because I read that and like knowing how important it is to tell the stories through song and then losing that song, I was like, is this going to change how they perceive him in the future? And like how everything happened? Like, I don't know. But yeah, it was a part of the whole like bargaining thing too of where you got to watch what you say and how you say it.
Oh, a song. Yeah, that's no problem.
Also, he's like, I'm a mediocre singer.
I know.
I don't know that I have a favorite nickname. They were all really good. I personally, so when I started dating my husband, he called me Babe. And I was like, do you just call me Babe because you're talking to so many other girls and you can't remember my name? Because I am not a nickname girly. Now we say Babe all the time. And I'm just like, whatever. It's cute.
I'm okay with Babe. I'm not okay with Bae. Like,
No.
you can't say it all the way. Like, get it all the way out of your mouth.
No. I was like, my nickname is shorter than Babe. So why wouldn't you just call me Sam? Like, just going through her hazy moment.
Do you ever realize like how much people don't say, like people close to you don't say your name?
Yeah.
Like do you ever think about that where it's just like
yeah, like if my husband says my name, I'm like,
it's weird,
what?
right?
It is weird.
Mad?
Yeah. So I had dated a guy. I had dated this guy for 6 months and like he said my name and I was like, oh my gosh, he's saying my name wrong. I realized like 6 months in that he didn't know how to say my name right. And I was like, what do I do? Like, do I tell him? He doesn't say it that often, so I don't really feel like I need to.
And that's how you knew it wasn't going to work out.
Yeah, I was also like, it's kind of ending anyways. Do I even tell him? No, probably not.
By the way.
So
when I took my husband to meet my mom for the first time, I think we'd been officially dating for only like a week, but we had been like, he had been flirting with me for a while. And I'm like, no, be gone. And then after like a month, I was like, fine. So he met my mom. And she's like, oh, what's his last name? And he's like, yeah, Sam, what is my last name? And I'm like,
nice.
I was like, I know your last name. And he's like, you just don't know how to say it, do you? I'm like, I don't know how to say it.
Your name is like a fantasy novel. It's beautiful, but I can't say
I have a hard time pronunciating things. Yeah. And it's really easy because like my last name now, it's Pfon and it's spelled Peaphon. So like it's how you would think it sounds, but for whatever reason, I'm like, it's not going to be like pronounced the way you think it would be.
Yeah.
But he called me right out from the beginning in front of my mom, and it was so embarrassing.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and the second dinner at Fisher's estate.
Oh yeah. When she's like, what is this? He's like, it's me.
Well, that and like I was really surprised at how quickly they got together. I was not because normally they're slow burns, right? But they got together pretty quick, and then the feelings. I mean, they were there, but they weren't like connected until afterwards, which I did appreciate how that was kind of like a change from the norm.
Yeah. Because that is a lot of times, like sometimes you have the chemistry and the feelings are still growing. And like people in that, like when your life is in danger and everything, a lot of times, those types of instincts kick in.
Well, and the poor guy was lost without sleep and rest for years and years and years.
Disappointed.
The poor man just wanted a way to relax. My favorite nickname was when he switched to Little Osha.
Yeah.
It was endearing. You could see a change. Yes. And you could like there was like him starting to change. It just came way later than I was expecting, because
Mhm.
normally they're like, "Oh, yeah, and they love each other, and it's fine," and he was not like, "No, I'm still gonna be mean to her."
Yeah, but he was resisting.
Mhm.
And my favorite scene was the dinner for sure. I love that stuff when, like, everyone is just, like, cringe, like, "Come on, guys, just
Mhm.
stop." I love that. Okay, um, we talked about, favorite scenes, and, I didn't, like, quote a ton. There are
Yeah,
so many. We could go on and on and on. Um, I know, Andy had put in the Discord the Moonlight one, like, she's not sunshine, she's moonlight, and, like, that whole one is just, ugh, so good.
I thought it was good, but I also cringed a little. Like, they were not, like, dating, they were not
Yeah,
anything,
that
and he
one,
was just like, "Let me tell you." I was like, "Wow, that was intense."
I think had it not been from Carrion, like, it would have not come out like that.
Yeah, I
Um,
think it was like, Carrion probably was like, "Okay, dude." Like, seems like you like her. Yeah, I didn't mark down any, but I did like that one.
when he said, like, "I'm in love with you," um, like, all of that, like, when they, like, officially, like, bonded, there were just there was a lot that I
Yeah.
really ended up liking.
I feel like a lot of the ones that I liked were Carrion too, were just like really funny quips that he said.
Oh, I did love when they first kissed, and she said, I wanted to remember this in the years to come. When I looked back at this moment, I would be glad that I'd taken the leap and jumped. This was the kiss to end all kisses, demanding, urgent, and carnal."
Mhm.
Yes. Uh, one of the things I loved so much that's just, like, really simple from when they were talking to the god of chaos is when he
Mm.
said, "You and he would always collide."
Yeah.
I love that. I
Yes.
love that. It's so simple, but I'm like,
Yeah.
Obviously, the whole scene of him talking about why he calls her OSHA, that was my favorite.
Yeah.
But,
mhm.
like, I quoted, like, 2 pages worth, so
Yeah, I was gonna the whole, like, the
I
whole
just
page.
to be reading all of that.
Yeah. Let me just read this again.
Oh, it was just so good. Obviously, when he tells her he loves her, and then he goes, "And I'm already half mad anyway, what's a little complicated thrown into the mix?"
Yeah.
I highlighted that one too.
Yeah. The ones I like were, like I said, I like with Carrion where he's just like, be more specific with your questioning, sunshine. He probably whittles every spare moment of his life. He probably wins whittling competitions. She's like, I'm not trying to beat him in a bet, Carrion. I want him to be good at it. In that case, then yes, I'm more than good. I'm fucking excellent. And it's just like, I think they're so hilarious, those guys.
I did
I loved
highlight
it
the
when
bad
he's like,
human.
"You shoulda let me introduce myself," and, like, it
Yes,
just
that part, like, I was like, what's gonna happen? You should have let me finish.
Yeah.
Because he tried to introduce, he was very polite, tried to introduce himself. He's like, I don't care who you are.
I wonder if he would I doubt he would have given away his whole
Oh, he
background and
knew,
stuff,
yeah. Yeah, he
but
knew what was going on.
yeah, and he knew that he needed to be the distraction, that
Yes.
he needed to try to, like, take away and lure them for
Yeah.
him, and I really appreciated that he wasn't as dumb as he acted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I knew from the beginning he wasn't dumb just because, like, I thought it was hilarious, whereas, like, the best thieving he ever did was stealing my underpants or something like that, like, at the very beginning. So he wasn't like, you knew he wasn't dumb,
Mhm.
that he was very, like, talented, but he also was, like, just a jokester the whole time, which I loved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but, like, people that don't know him, they
Yeah,
don't know.
underestimate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I loved that about him, and I'm glad that, like, they just didn't get rid of him, like, that he stayed pretty
Yeah.
active in it.
Yeah. before like the whole reveal, like when he got bitten, I was like, oh my gosh, are they gonna kill him off? I'm gonna be so upset because I
was
actually
really shocked.
like this character.
Yeah.
And then it just went, woo, huge fireworks.
I was very shocked when that happened. And he's like, oh, guess what?
Yeah, yeah.
What?
Yeah, I thought he was a goner.
I thought when he did that, when he was just like, "Oh, you didn't realize," I thought he had ingested something, like because they were talking about like poisons. They were
the
talking
drugs that they were taking. I thought that's what it was.
Yeah, she was talking about that drug that she was taking. I thought he knew something.
Yeah, same.
Way more. So cool.
So I think this is pretty obvious. I think all of us will continue.
Yes.
With the series, you know, in October of
when
this
it
year.
shows up.
Yeah, if you Google it, it says October of next year, but we'll see.
Yeah, we've been lied to before.
Yes, exactly.
When is Heat? Heat? No, the next one after Heat.
January or so, around the same time as Onyx.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh,
I thought it would maybe be
I feel like so many books are coming out in the first couple months.
The 4th book and the Trial of the Sun Queen just came out.
Oh,
okay.
Whatever one that was called.
I get the Everflame ones mixed up so much because I'm like, what comes next?
Okay, you guys have to continue that one. It gets way better.
I know. That's what I've always heard. And I liked the first one fine.
The first one to me was good, but like
I think I might have given it 3 stars.
Yeah, it wasn't anything great.
But I really liked it. I could tell like there was going to be something from that. And so I need to continue because everybody has said it's fantastic.
Yeah, I just the second and third was just like astronomically better.
Yeah. I just hated the whole relationship with that one guy, and I was like, die already.
It's just like Fourth Wing and Dame. That's another common thing I see in so many fantasies is there's always like a Dane and there's always a Xaden.
Well, and that's what I thought.
Adonibonics. Very much like that.
Has anyone read A Promise of Peridot, the second one?
Yes.
Did you like it?
I liked it. I liked the first one better, but the second one was like 4.
I gave it 3 stars. I did not like it.
I have the what is it? Ruby? Rose?
Reign of Rose.
Reign of Rose.
Is it Rose? I have it.
Ruby? Reign of Ruby? Rose? I think it is Rose, which is silly because all the other ones are Onyx, Emerald, or Peridot.
Yeah, now that you say that, that kind of bothers me.
Rose, isn't it? She didn't follow her own theme.
That's annoying.
Question. Okay, somebody asked me this. So I know ACOTAR, the first book, is supposed to be like a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Yeah. And someone asked if she continued that theme. Did she?
No.
Like with different... Because someone thought like one of them was like another retelling. And I was like, I didn't get that.
Not that I know of.
I've actually heard that she took, there's a story, there's an old folk story of Tamlin. Like it's 2 words and it's almost exactly Tamlin.
I was going to say she took the Weaver is kind of like Hansel and Gretel.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I can see that though.
I never thought of it that way.
Oh yeah, that like as soon as I heard it, I was like, this is totally the way like Hansel and Gretel gonna eat you.
Yeah, now I can see that. I did not know that though.
But I can't think of anything else.
Okay.
What questions are you hoping to get answered?
If the brother's alive.
Hopefully not. Just kidding.
Oh, I would like to see her be able to like restore where she grew up somehow.
Yeah, especially I don't care if the brother comes, but her mentor because she she wanted both her brother and the mentor to be saved. Carrion
Yeah,
wasn't
I
even
would
on
like her
that
to
list.
be able to give them, like, food and water and stuff
Yeah.
because they're just
Yeah.
all, like, suffering.
Yeah. I think that's gonna come when she has to, like, she's gonna have to Madra fled through the Madra fled through the Quicksilver, so she's back home. So you know that they're gonna have to follow her at one point and
Yeah.
like help with that civilization.
Beth, I'm not. Tales of the Queen of Hearts.
What is that? What are we talking about?
I don't know.
Oh, is that the Trial of the Sun Queen, the 4th book? That's what she's saying.
Maybe, I don't remember what it was called.
I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah,
And
because
it
Queen
comes
of
out
Hearts
tomorrow?
was one of the realms. If you
I
like
do wanna read Queen of Hearts. Have you read that? Is it good?
for what?
A Heartless? I think it's called Heartless. It's about the Queen of Hearts.
I did not. I read what Cinder was the original book, and Queen of Hearts is the backstory of the I think it is, right?
I'm not sure.
Marissa Meyer.
Yeah.
I read Cinder, but I haven't read any more.
I wanna try it though because I think it's different.
I read Cinder. I don't really love the narrator. She's the same one that she's the same one that did Iron Flame, Fourth Wing, the original, and I hate her in the Fourth Wing one because she's like whiny, and I'm like, you're supposed to be older in this, but but Cinder, Scarlet, I really like Scarlet, and then Cress was another one, and she was supposed to be like Tangled. That one was pretty good. So that was an interesting trilogy. I liked it. But I didn't continue on. I kind of finished that up as was, and it was good.
I want confirmation. Is Madra a part vampire, or is she living forever a completely different way?
I was confused because Belkin is a fae. I think she's supposed to be fae as well, right? Because Belkin was fae. Malcolm was originally fae and took on this blood whatever and became vampire. So I think they were siblings and they were fae, and Malcolm decided to become vampire. I think that's correct.
See, yeah, I was still confused, like, by a lot of that I'm like, I don't know if I need to reread it or if they're gonna explain in the next book.
I think it was a little confusing.
Yeah, at first I thought, oh, they're 3 different species. That's what's kind of interesting. One's human, one's fae, one's vampire, and they make a trilogy of. But then I was like, that doesn't make sense. Because Malcolm was originally fae. So I think that they're all 3 fae.
And I think too, wasn't like the vampire thing, that was like a curse, right?
Yeah.
Like brought upon the fae.
It was, yes, it was, because the witches were brought in.
And then they were able to heal somehow.
Yes. It was supposed to be like a blood curse, and then a bunch of them had it, including, I think, Kingfisher.
Yeah.
And they chose to take the cure when they could, and Malcolm did not.
I thought that was such an interesting twist.
Yeah.
Like them being like used to be vampire.
Yeah. And that's why they still have the canines, the like elongated teeth.
Because that's where are fae in all the other books, do they have the teeth like that, or is that just like in this book?
Throne of Glass, they do.
They do? Okay. So I wonder if that's folklore. Like I wonder if that's a thing.
Different than I've seen. So
I don't think it's common.
Rowan is the first one that has it in Throne of Glass. And I was like, oh, like I don't remember this being so.
So I wonder if that's a folklore thing.
Yeah.
And I did like how they brought the witches in too, but that's where I was like, there's a lot of characters here and a lot of different things that have happened that my brain is just not retaining all
Yeah.
of it.
It is a lot.
Yeah, I kind of wish she has like the list for pronunciations for like the harder ones, but she could have put more of the people in here as well.
Even like a character list is nice sometimes.
That's what I mean, just a character
Yeah.
list. Because she doesn't have like the sister who was Enya or something. I forget her name.
The Fisher sister?
Yeah, Everly. It starts with an E.
Everly?
Everly?
Or
Everly? I don't know.
I thought it was
Everly.
Lynn at the end. Was it maybe not? I don't know. Because then they would do
Everly?
nicknames, which was nice, but also
Yeah.
sometimes confusing.
Yeah,
She has
nicknames
her own
confuse
chapter. What's the
me.
chapter
Let me
heading?
look. Hold on.
Here it is. Yeah, Everlane.
Yeah.
Blaine. Okay.
Which I thought was a pretty name.
Which, by the way, as far as comparing things go, she reminded me of Alice off of Twilight.
Oh, yeah, that's how I pictured her too.
Because, that's exactly how Alice acted.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I felt like she was more morose than Alice.
Yeah.
She was kind of perky, but also had a little bit of a morose side. I also felt like she is going to have a bigger part in the next story.
That's what I was wondering.
She was
Well,
kind of
falls in love with Carrion.
Yeah, somebody, either Carrion or Renfis. I mean,
Yeah.
Renfis was really worried about her.
That's what I was like, something's gonna happen there.
Yeah.
Like, I could see that.
Yeah.
She didn't remind me, she reminded me more of Alice than Moore, but I was also
yeah,
kind of
not
getting like
Moore.
more
I didn't get more vibes.
in like the beginning where she's just like kind of like that bridge between them for a little bit. Like,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there's always that character that you need to
Yeah.
have to break that.
Yeah.
And so like I know that's a common thing.
But she wasn't like a drunken, gorgeous being the whole time, just like chilling out there.
But that's where like if Renfis, it does feel like he has feelings for her, so that's where I was like, that's almost giving me like,
Yeah,
the
I wasn't
brother has
sure.
to love one of the sisters, even though they're not technically brothers, but you're around these people, so you love them and you care for them, so I understand like why those feelings happen.
I was like, is it going to be familiar bond? Like, is that what they are? And Lorith is going to have her, or like, are they going to be in love?
Yeah. Hi Elise, I'm so late. I hope you were here while we were just spoiling it up. I haven't quite finished, so I was planning on staying. Wasn't planning on staying, but at least wanted to say hi. Also, I've enjoyed it so far, 40%, and it's a big one. It's a big one. I'm glad you're enjoying it though.
Heather put it as her, she has her 24 in 2024. And she put it as my recommendation because I had talked about it. I was like, I didn't even tell you to do that, but that's spot on.
Yeah, you're like, that's what I would tell you to read.
I would have told
what
you
I'm
that
going to say
anyways.
to everybody now.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be everywhere.
So this is going to be a trilogy. That's good. I can handle a trilogy. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, I was kind of thinking it has to be. I think each sibling is going to die per book, possibly.
That would make sense.
That's what
like
I kind of thought might happen.
But then 2 side characters get a book. Carrion.
I hope so. That would be the best.
It'll be hated just for you.
Boo.
Okay, we talked about that. They kept calling her human though, and Fisher said he didn't know how she was still alive.
Well, I think that was just because they were falsely pretending.
But I could also see that, like, we finding out more in the next book about that, because they did bring that up a lot. Like, what?
That she was human.
Yeah, she's human. How has she done this? How has she tricked people for so long? Like,
but they didn't know that Belkin and Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, were siblings. They didn't know they were. So, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. And are they, siblings actually through blood, or are they siblings like Renfist and Kingfisher is?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I know, and then like being able to give part of your soul, like that changes so much.
I'm also thinking as a like, this isn't a spoiler, but as a fan theorist. Yeah, that, what was it, that if Kingfisher dies, which one? If Kingfisher dies, he has to wait for Lorith to die for him to be able to move on. So I think that Kingfisher is going to die, and Lorith is going to like keep his soul attached to him, and that's how they're going to bring him back in the future. Maybe
as soon as they said that, I was like, something's going to happen.
I know something's going to happen. What you're probably going to? I'm thinking Kingfisher, because I think if Lorith dies, he just dies, and his soul.
His soul returns back.
So I think that Kingfisher's going to die, and Lorith is going to be like, no, yoink, and bring him back.
Well, and when she was in that like different realm, he made it sound like that it would always lead to destruction, them being together.
He did.
Yeah.
And she made that final, like, when she was looking for the coin. Hang on, what was it? I had it. There was something else too, where she, like, they were like, the coin said they would do it for love and all of that, because there's not a lot of love, and they were saying there's chaos. And then, he told her, like, because there will be chaos with you guys. But that was brought up quite a bit.
Yeah.
Too, before that. I don't remember exactly when.
And that now nobody can see their fates. I think that's really interesting. Like,
yeah,
they're hidden from everybody.
I do love it. I'm excited to see what happens. Kingfisher said he was born after the blood curse.
Oh. Then how did he get the canines?
I thought they tell. There's so much information.
I thought he was. I thought that was the whole thing. Was unless like
maybe they didn't get rid of the curse.
Yeah, maybe it was
much later. So they might have been born with it.
Yeah, maybe he inherited it.
I think they do explain that, but I don't
remember.
There's so much.
Yeah, there was a lot.
In my experience in folklore, it depends on the subspecies, as most folklore has fae
as the species.
Yeah, because folklore doesn't mean that everybody's fae. They're like there's different species in folklore.
There's a lot of species. And then, I mean, it's so funny, like, because vampires were such a big thing, right? Like, Twilight came out, and then, like, all the vampires, and, like, these vampires are sparkly in the sun. These vampires, like, can handle the sun, but, like, certain like, it's so funny how, like, different they are. And now we're in, like, the world of fairies, and all the fairies are different. And like, some have wings because of certain things, some don't, some have tails, some have, like, they all have pointy ears, but now they're gonna start having pointy teeth.
Yep. They're hybrids.
Hybrids. That's right.
The author's website also has chapters from Fisher's point of view as a bonus read. I did see a link on the Kindle one, which.
But like half the book was his point.
That's what I was confused about.
I didn't need any more.
I don't ever read that stuff because I feel like it's rereading what you just read.
I bet it's the spicy scenes.
Like Edward's point of view in Twilight, I didn't read that. I'm like, I already read it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing with her being a dark romance author, it's going to be the spicy scenes.
Like, I could rewrite this another way.
I'm guessing that she's going to become a fantasy author after this. That's what happened with Rebecca Yarros. I mean, she was just romance.
Yep.
Which I'm here for it.
Me too.
I read it not as blood siblings, but as title recognizing them, that they're in it together.
Yeah.
I mean, we really don't know, because there's so many different forms of family and siblings in this book.
Yeah.
The Canaans are explained as a byproduct of the curse that has not been removed evolutionary. Oh, yeah. I was like, I swear they said it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, I know it came from the curse.
Yeah, and it just like, I don't know. But
Hereditary.
It's hard
sometimes
to
you're like,
remember
this
all
is
those
happening.
details.
This is happening for a reason, you know? Like,
Yeah.
it's just a byproduct. Is it? Like,
You still sucked my blood, dude.
it still was worth it.
Yeah,
It was worth it.
that was a great byproduct.
Okay, I know it's already super late. I am so thankful for you guys being here. So I was gonna do what our choices are for January.
Okay.
We haven't picked. We're gonna let you guys pick again because
Yay.
you guys enjoy picking. We enjoy it when
Yeah.
you guys pick. However, April, like, we narrowed it down to 3, and then she's like, well, you can pick the last one, but I can't. I am having a hard time like narrowing it down because I own both the books. So there will be 4 choices, but this is the 4th choice that I'm not sure. So either The Road of Bones by Demi Winters. It's a book of the month pick. It's a Viking romantasy.
Never heard
I've
of
heard
that one.
good things. But
Yeah, I've heard.
it's a bigger book. But yeah, it came out November last month on Book of the Month. Or Heaven Breaker by Sarah Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
So I need everybody that's still here to either do Bones or Heaven. Comment.
Now, I've seen Heaven a ton, but what is it? Do you have a tiny synopsis?
Yeah, what's it about?
This one I've heard. Okay, so it's a long thing, and I am horrible at reading things out loud. But this one is more like sci-fi-ish. I've heard.
Okay.
So it's like fantasy sci-fi.
Okay.
He's the Duke of a powerful house. Haute Claire is the first to die with my dagger in his back. He didn't see it coming, didn't anticipate the bastard daughter who was supposed to die with her mother on his order. He should have left us with the rest of the station's starving commoner rubbish. Now there's nothing left, just icy white rage and a need to make House Haute Claire pay. Every damn one of them. Even if it means riding Heavenbreaker, one of the few enormous machines left over from the war, and jousting against the fiercest nobles in the system. Each win means another one of my enemies dies, and here in the cold terror of space, the machine and I move as one, intent on destroying each adversary, even if it's someone I care about, even if it's someone I'm falling for. Only I am not alone, not anymore. Because there's something in the machine with me, something horrifying, something more, and it won't be stopped. So that really doesn't explain anything.
No, not at all. Haute Claire. I'm thinking H-O-T.
So are we picking to put as a nomination?
Yes.
Is that what we're doing?
Yes. Okay. So once we pick one of these, then I will tell you what the 4 choices are.
I'll say Heavenbreaker.
Oh, I'm going to say Bones.
Okay, we got one for each.
Go with the comments.
Mm-hmm. We got 3 bones.
Okay, now we have 4 bones.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm guessing it'll be Bones. This is just a choice. I know the audiobook is a lot more available, and this one's been out for a little bit longer. But it is gorgeous.
I was gonna say the one is, I think, Audible exclusive. Bones.
Yeah.
And so that's something to take.
This is just a choice. So, okay, we'll say it's Bones. So now I will tell you about the 4 choices, and then voting will happen. I don't know what I would say tomorrow, but it'll be sometime soon. So the options are going to be, once again, we have Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling, because I just really want to read this eventually, so I'm going to put it on the list for a while. The Dagger and the Flame
Hmm.
by Catherine Doyle. This one is a book of the month choice 2. The Road of Bones that you guys just picked.
Mhm.
Or The Games Gods Play,
Nice.
which I want to read. Like, obviously, I own all but Fear the Flames, which I
Yeah.
really want to read that one, and I don't own it yet. But those are going to be our choices for January. But if you guys are wanting to read another fantasy book, make sure you check out Wendy's book club this month and read Mistborn, because I am excited for that one.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, that one will be good.
Um,
And if these get picked in I think the sale ends in 6 days, so like Road of Bones is $6.50 right now. Fear the Flame is $10 on Audible. But
just stock up now. Vote for Fear the Flame. Got it, Sam. No, so I actually, like, now that I've seen like more reviews on Good Reviews, it doesn't have the highest reviews.
So I read that people, the first edition of the book, it needed editing.
Okay.
They read it and they're like, it's a good story, but it still needs editing. And so I think the second edition, the one that's out now, has been re-edited and stuff. So I've heard possible better things of that, even though people like the story of it originally.
It dragons.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker.
I love dragons.
I'm for that one and The Games Gods Play. I'm really interested in that.
And then the second one, it comes out eventually. They have a cover for it and all of that. I don't remember when. The Games Gods Play. Yeah. I've heard really good things about this one. And like even the Road of Bones, a lot of people really liked it. I love Viking stuff. And I don't remember what this one. I'll do like the whole synopsis things of them. But honestly, I want to read all of them. But
The Games Gods Play is also Viking, yes? Maybe? It's got axes.
I think it's
Norse?
Yeah, I think it's Norse.
Which is
very similar. I know. Pretty much.
Isn't that where the Vikings come from?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. So this is like obviously like Zeus and Hades. It's a lot with Hades.
So not Norse.
Yeah, never mind. I feel like there is another book though that, because I was like, wow, this is becoming a common theme. Yeah, no, this is Hades.
Okay, so it's Greek.
It is.
Cool.
I was getting confused too because my husband is obsessed with Vikings and Greek god mythology.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Norse is Viking. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It is. It's the same.
I was like, I don't ever want to be like, yes. Because like Irish and Scottish are not the same. No. But they're very easy to confuse.
Well, Welsh and Scottish are the ones that sound very similar. And then Irish, is a little bit different. But none of them are the same.
And my unculturedness cannot tell you the difference.
And they will be highly offended. It's like, I'm trying. I'm sorry.
Until they tell me what it is, and like I'm like, it could be any of them.
What can I say? I'm not Irish. I don't know.
I met some guys when I was like 18 years old. I was on a backpacking trip, and there was a whole group of Aussies, and they're always really fun. Like you always tried to tag along with them because they were really fun. So, we were talking to this group, and I kind of broke off to talk to this one guy. I said, "Oh, are you also, an Aussie?" He says, "Nah, I'm a Kiwi." And I was like, right away, I just like, "Oh, nice to meet you. I'm a bald eagle." Because a kiwi is the national bird of New Zealand. So they call themselves Kiwis instead of saying I'm a New Zealander. They always say they're a Kiwi. So I was just like, "Oh yeah, I'm a bald eagle." And he was like, "What?"
I never would have known that.
That a Kiwi was their
I would have been like, "Are you okay?"
Really cute.
I'd have been like, and I'm an orange. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm an orange.
I'm
Yeah.
a cherry because I'm from Michigan and we're the cherry capital of the
I
United
don't know if we have fruit in Arizona.
Are we comparing fruits
Prickly
or
pears. Is
Yeah,
that not a
prickly
fruit?
pear. Yeah, prickly pear. Yeah, so I just said, I was like, I'm a bald eagle. And he went, huh? And then he was like, ah! And so we became best friends after that.
I was naturally. I love that. Okay, Gaelic is Celtic, but not Irish Celtic. Yeah, that's so confusing.
Mhm.
And my husband's Irish, like super, super Irish, and I don't know. I like all of it, but I can't tell the difference. And obviously, I get really confused. I get really confused when there's two R names in a fantasy book, guys. Like, you think I can tell the difference with these cultures
Yeah.
and myths?
I feel like there's a lot of A names in fantasies. I'll just be reading a book and I'm like, you just gave me 3 A people that start with A. I don't know who this is anymore.
The only other book that really confused the heck out of me, which didn't even have hard names, was One Dark Window, but it was because they were all named like after trees. But then like they all had different houses which represented different things, but then they would stay at their cousins' houses.
Oh,
And I'm
no.
like, who the heck are these people and who are their family? And oh, that confused the
Oh,
heck.
that would confuse me.
My brain did not handle it well. The only thing the Irish and the Scots can agree on is the British are worse. Good to know.
It's funny.
Beth, you have like a wealth of knowledge.
Mhm.
You can call me out anytime I mess up because I'm sure it's a lot. But oh my gosh, guys. Sorry to keep you up late on a Monday night, but thank you so much. I'm so glad you guys liked it. You definitely have me pushing to want to reread it and give it 5 stars. I'm the type of person that I will can be swayed.
Mhm.
And normally not to go down, but definitely to go up.
Yeah.
And I definitely know it was more of a me thing than the book.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you guys being here. I'm so excited to join in you guys reading Mistborn, and then seeing everybody next time. I also am doing Spark Miss right now, which I don't know why I decided to do that, but I will be posting a video every day, Monday through Friday.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I saw we were doing Vlogmas and I'm like, no.
I just haven't done any videos in a really long time, and I just have been I wanted to do that for that, and I wanted to do that, and I haven't done them, and I'm like, guess what I'm gonna do now? Gonna do it now. But okay, good night. Good night, everybody. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.